live under a rock. She had the Epstein files on her desk. She goes to release them. She releases them to a bunch of right-wing influencers. There's nothing there. The influencers go out and like hold friends of ours, Posobiec and Jessica Reed Krause and DC Drano. They're like, hey, I got the Epstein files. And there was nothing, a big nothing burger. Totally blows up in their face. It was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And I love a lot of those people.
I love them all, but DC Drano was rude to me when I was drunkenly talking to him at the where we went. And I was very drunk. No, you were talking to somebody.
Oh, you blew.
But I was very drunk and I was like, listen, I'll tell you what. And he was not respectful to me.
What should he have done?
He turned his back and act like he ignored me. But I'm like, I'll tell you another thing. He should have.
I love how your stories are. He was rude to me while I was drunkenly screaming in his face.
I know, but a lot of people, when I'm drunk and screaming, they'll just laugh and then go, excuse me, I got to check with my.
That's how we do this.
They don't just turn their back to me.
Well,
I love to drunkenly scream in people's face, particularly those who are influential.
Well, I met Rogan at Turning Point, DC Drano, and he loved you. Rogan O'Hanley. That's his real name. He loves you.
No, but I loved him.
Okay.
But yet, I think when I'm drunk, people should be, like Ted Nugent's family was with me when I was drunk. They were amused. I want people to be amused when I'm drunk.
I'm with you.
And the Ted Nugent family was so lovely. When I was drunk at Mar-a-Lago and trying to run through the shrubbery to get on stage to sing YMCA with Trump.
You would have been shot or tasered.
No, I just couldn't make it because I had new shoes.
If you rushed the stage of Trump, you would have been shot.
I was going through the shrubbery and trying to climb over the banister.
You would have been shot or tasered. It would have been really
No, because they knew it was me. But I couldn't do it with these new Dior shoes I had on.
You're not allowed to go to Mar-a-Lago without me, is what it is. I'm your handler.
I wanted to do that YMCA dance so bad.
So anyway, Bindergate happens.
I could really do that.
Huge disaster. And I got some inside baseball I want to bring because I'm friends with some of these influencers, believe it or not. Your son actually is cool. I don't know if you knew that. And
well, I know you like that Jessica and talk to her.
Well, her and I know quite a few people, but just so people know, this meeting was scheduled a week in advance. It wasn't a meeting about the binders. I just want to fill in the people. This was about new media, and they were bringing in influencers because the Trump administration is very big on independent journalism, which I love. And they've given White House credentials to influencers and kicked out some more traditional papers that are fucking fake news
I
media.
love that they
No,
did
it's
that.
great. So that's what this meeting was about. That's why these people were there. They're the media now, and I love this because that's how we won the election.
That's the revolution right there.
Yeah, and you should have been invited, but that's a whole other story. So they get there. Pam Bondi gets the FBI files that she's been waiting for, Epstein. She goes on TV and says, they're on my desk. They're going to come out tomorrow. So she sees an opportunity. I'm going to give phase one to these influencers who are already here talking about new media, and I'm going to give it to them before I give it to the press.
That's
and then
smart.
I'm going to release it tonight. It'll go on the website. Everybody can see it. The press says, but our influencers that have been telling the truth and been in the trenches with us, they get it first. There wasn't anything there. She was going to bring more on. So it's actually not a bad strategy. What happened was when the influencers went out and left the meeting, traditional media was outside. And they see fucking DC Drano and House and Habit. And they're like, fuck you. We're Washington Post. We should be in there. So the influencers start rubbing it in and smiling with the binders like, haha, we got into the White House because we're not fake news pussies like you guys. And that's what happened. So the picture comes out. Pam Bondi releases the Epstein files to just right-wing influencers. They smile. They put it behind the paywall. Check out my page later tonight. I got the Epstein files. They all did it. And there was nothing in there. So it totally backfired. But I just want to say that was never the plan or the strategy. And there was always
No, here's what happened.
I'm opening this.
The New York, the Southern, whoa, Jesus. The Southern District of New York wanted to humiliate Pam Bondi. That's why they did it. And you're right. It was because they wanted to do it before the Oscars.
I think that's
because
true.
Of the ad dollar.
That's my theory.
But listen to me say because of the ad dollar for the Oscars. Because it's all about the advertising of Wall Street.
Absolutely. But if they were smart, they would have released the Epstein files that Friday. The real ones that show all those Hollywood
No,
people
but
there.
how much better is it that the one guy goes on, I don't know where, but I don't know his name either. but he went on somewhere and he goes, Cash better get on a plane and go up there and say, you're fired, and load up the truck. And so Cash did.
Yeah, so I want to get into that, but
I mean, how glorious is that we as the American public are, but it's kind of like the plan, because we get to see them humiliated because they're just so humiliating, and we get to see them laid low. We get to see their arrogant power laid low, and us winning by driving this truck away full of evidence.
Well, you're talking about the Southern District of New York, the FBI office there. So what happens when Pam gets this?
That guy had to retire.
I know. I'm catching people up real quick. She gets these files. She gets them out, and she doesn't have all the files. And she's like, what the fuck? So she writes this letter and gets Cash involved and is like, they promised me all these Epstein files. It turns out the Southern District of New York FBI office was withholding all the Epstein files. So Pam Bondi now looks bad. She gives out binders to influencers before the Oscars. It's all a big nothing burger. It turns out that it was a fucking FBI guy who actually said, we're going to dig in and fight Trump.
Comey's daughter.
Comey's daughter also runs that thing.
Looks just like Comey, and like a Baphomet Comey.
She's Brigitte Macron Comey. But what if it's James Comey as his daughter and is transitioned?
It's probably James Comey well, she looks younger than him. How evil is that son of a bitch? You know he dresses it.
Well, let me just
finish. You know they all prance around in pink dresses over there at Bohemian.
I want to hear this, but
Bohemian Grove in pink panties, pink dresses, and tutus. That's what they do over there.
Right. So Cash raids the SDNY. And that guy is forced to resign. And now apparently a trove of Epstein documents are on their way to Pam Bondi. And now she's going through it. It's going to be the big thing that we wanted. But she's removing stuff because of national security, which the alt-right dog whistle is, of course, that's the Jews. So that's always catching up. Thank you.
Don't say the Jews.
Israel. Well, they say the Jews, but it's Israel.
No, but you could say Israel, because Israel's fucking does the stupidest shit in the fucking world. Bibi Netanyahu ain't shit. I'm ready to go over there and slap him upside the head, just like I says I would do to Nancy Pelosi, because they're on the same fucking team. They both work for the WEF. I mean, Trump gave Bibi the thing. I always say Bibi is fucking nothing but a showman, and at the end, he gives up land. Every fucking time he gives up shit to keep the war going, because he's WEF, and he keeps that fucking war going because he's making money on it. Fuck all of them, whatever the fuck they're calling themselves. Anybody who's making money on war and keeping it going, working for banks and all this fucking WEF Nazi bullshit. I don't care what they call themselves. They gotta go.
So you see